or E-liter haven right there. Is you're safe for the most part, able to do a lot of damage from no matter where you are on the map. And then for those players to be able to switch it up the next game and go with a much faster paced comp in a mode like Rainmaker, I think that spells very good for them going forward in this tournament. As the counter picks are so crucial coming down to the wire here.
Yeah, we've got a match on the other side of the bracket that is currently happening. I'm not fully sure of the score that is being that is currently at right now, because I know it's not 0-0 because they have been in this match for a little bit, but it's going to be Mercy versus Naywell. Naywell's been a team that has had a lot of a storied history being talked about in this coming SAC season. We're thinking that they're going to be more of the favorites, but they're actually the lower seed in this one. Mercy's a team that's the higher seed, so I'm very interested to see what will happen in that match and what is going to go down. But I know for right now we are just going to wait till that match finishes, because it has started, so we will not be able to slide over to that side of the bracket. So with that, I think we're going to go to a little bit of a break, and we'll see you in finals. Welcome back to Grand Finals, everybody. I am still Genie7, and I'm still joined here with Waki. We're still, I guess it would have not gone on anywhere, SAC Season 6 Tournament 2. But what we have differently is two teams that didn't even have any results in the last tournament. Mercy versus Rabid. We don't have too much information on either of these two teams, do we, Waki?
No, but I mean, what we can say though is that Mercy technically, I don't think they've lost a set all day. A lot of the teams came out of the Swiss stages with a loss. Mercy went 5-0 in that stage, just won their last set up against Nawal, and won their round one obviously as well to make it into our grand finals here. So Mercy's kind of been on a tear throughout this entire tournament.
Yeah, they also beat Synergy in Swiss round. So if they beat Rabid here, they beat every single team in the top 4, which isn't something you usually get to say in a Swiss to single elimination bracket tournament.
Yeah, for sure. That's a pretty damn impressive results coming out from them right there. Obviously, the last set, they won in a nail biter, 2-1 over Nawal Gaming. Who, is a pretty strong team in their own right. Always see them in weekly tournaments and such. So, good showing from Mercy. But they're going to be going against Rabid, who, quickly dealt with Synergy and felt like the better team for the majority of their set.
Yeah, they did not look like they faltered at all in that last set against Synergy. Taking out our tournament champions, no problem. And Mercy, a lot closer in a 2-1 fashion. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see any of those games like the rest of the viewers at home. So I didn't really get to see what they were really running and what maps they truly did play. All I do know is that there was a Hagglefish somewhere in the middle in the counterpick chat of that. So but that's like saying Smash players are going to Battlefield. Not really a surprise.
Yeah, Hagglefish is definitely one of the more popular maps in the game, and that's actually the map we're going to be starting off with in our grand finals. It's going to be Splat Zone's Hagglefish. So what are your thoughts about this one, Genie?
It's going to be a good map for both these teams to start off on, because it's like Mako Zones in S2. Everyone had a game plan. Everyone knew what they were going to try and do. Everyone had a little bit of a comp that they had an idea of, with a little bit of a secret touch sprinkled in with a secret little play. So I always like seeing two fresh teams that I've never seen it, because you always learn something new, like a new bomb placement that goes over a wall, even a tri-strike. Like I watched Krim on Cherry Limeade do a crazy tri-strike play on the Ludi set, which took over Splat Twitter for a while. I always like seeing little plays on maps that you've seen 1,000 times. And I want to see what these two teams have, because every single team has it. Some are bigger and some are small.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the beauty of Splatoon in general. You have a lot of teams end up picking similar comps, meta-wise right now, but it's how you use those comps and really, show your own strengths, and it comes down to those plays that really separate you from the rest. So definitely want to see what both of these teams, play like on this map, and just looking at their results from their last sets, both of them ended up winning their first games to start off that set. So, which was Splat Zone's Brine Water. So they're both, gotten wins on Splat Zones recently. And then also, going back to that last game, we saw Rabid coming out with a double Wave Breaker comp. That I think, Wave Breaker's really strong on Splat Zone's Hagglefish, again, just because it's a stationary objective, so it pretty much covers that entire ground, and you're able to spot not only anybody trying to come through the zone onto your side of the map, but also through those flanks. So definitely a very strong special on a map like Hagglefish Market, where you have to, critically look out for those flanks, or otherwise it could really spell doom for your team as the opposing team just trying to push this into you.
That is a great point that you pointed out. And the junior combination with the E-Leader that we did see out of Rabid allows them to have that long-range, crazy good threat of the E-Leader and the painting support of the junior, so that the other frontline members can just focus on splatting around, covering flanks, going for their own flanks, and not focus on what the E-Leader's biggest weakness is not painting the map, and allowing the E-Leader not to ever have to tap shut the map, paint, because the junior's doing it, and the Sharks are able to be kind of usually found out because of those torpedoes. It's a underrated combo that kind of gives me flashbacks. This might give you flashbacks as well, Walkie. It gives me Echolocator, Dynamo, E-Leader vibes in Splatoon 1. It gives me a little bit of a glimpse of hope into the
Yeah, it's definitely a similar combination, like you were mentioning right there. You've got obviously the strong presence of the E-Leader itself, but then you've got a nice painting weapon that kind of pairs up with it really well, able to complement it by taking care of the downsides that come with playing a backliner weapon like the E-Leader. So definitely, I could see the parallels to that, and see what the teams elect to bring in that regard. But other weapons that'll be strong on a map like this, or weapons that are strong on pretty much any map at this point, is obviously the splashes will work well here. The 10 attack splatter shot with the tri-strikes that you were mentioning in the zones map. If you time those correctly, that could cap the entire zone for you. Especially this one isn't that big of a zone. You can cap it rather easily with those tri-strikes. So those are definitely the type of weapons that I'm thinking both of these teams are going to bring out.
We did see last game in Brownwater, or last set, sorry, for Rabid. They didn't have a crab tank at all. I want to see if they're going to rock it on that same comp on this map. They double Wayburger, double tri-strike. Crab on this map, that being Hagglefish, feels just stronger than most, because you have that big presence in zone, big supportive presence with those walls that you can't really shoot bombs from the sides too easily onto it, and it can kind of just march its way through zone and do a lot of damage. It can get shut down easily with a whole bunch of specials, but it always has been strong. We've even seen it be strong back in the very first tournaments of Splatoon 3. So I want to know if that would bite Rabbit in the behind, because I know that Mercy, they do have a crab tank user.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone's got a crab tank user at some point these days, just with how popular that is. But yeah, like you mentioned, the crab tank on this map in particular not only serves as a good way to hold your own ground when you have control of the zone, and put some pressure onto key areas of the map where the enemy team is likely to come in from, like their own tent area, where you could shoot back at them with the crab tank from the zone. But even when you're trying to get back in yourself, throwing that crab tank onto your tent or plat could really just open up yourself to getting a pick or two, and allowing your team members to push on forward. So it's a weapon that comes with a lot of strengths to using it. So I'm very curious what both of these teams want to go with in that regard, because you got to imagine at least one team is going to be bringing in the crab tank.
Yeah, and we do have everyone in the lobby. I can confirm that we are just getting into the weapon select, so our match will be starting very shortly. We don't want to go anywhere right before grand finals. Whoever gets up in a movie walkie right before the big chase scene? Have you ever done that?
No. If I get into a movie, man, I'm staying there the whole time. That's it. I'm not getting up. I'm not.
4 hours of a movie, you're staying the entire time.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
True.
I paid for it.
True. That's hard factual. Don't pay anything to watch on Twitch. The internet is luckily free for everybody. And that's going to be a no E-liter, going to be a Bamboo coming out of the side of Rabid.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see Bamboo played.
Yeah, Bamboo, interestingly, comes up with a little bit of a different package than what you come in with the Either. So it's going to be rocking that Killer Whale 5.1. So might be able to call them out in its own regard. Not yet, it's not going to locate them for everybody, but you can see where those lasers are pointing and try and work off of that. You see the Tri-Strikes already coming in for Mercy, as they've been pretty much the aggressors so far in this game. Yeah, Rabid has the zone, but you see Mercy elected to kind of push up all the way onto their side of the map, and so far it's not working out for them, as Rabid was able to deal with that pretty well, and they've also been able to get the zone, as we were mentioning right there. So nice, strong start for Rabid, as they look very strong and looking to hold this one even further.
Let's see if Apple can find any space. No, finds a spot bomb. We have bomb coming out from the rest of the members of Mercy. Rabid, they're trying to hold on. Candy's gonna go for a little bit of flank. Will it be spotted out by the members of Mercy? Yes, they will, and be pressured back, but the zone is still ticking down for Rabid. The Slosher and the Bamboo are still alive. What damage can they get done, and can they hold on to the zone? Not quite. Moment is able to grab onto that, and Air is gonna be forced to back up.
Yeah, right now that Bamboo being pressured, they do have the Killer Whale at the ready. They're going to go ahead and pop that with a little bit of support from their teammates, but actually they got two right there, but actually there's a DC on the side of Mercy, and they elect to just stop playing, I believe. So that is going to be a replay. I'm sure you know the rules better than I do.
I believe they should be allowed to have a replay in this. It looks like Rabid is going to just allow them to do that, because if not, Rabid, the points are technically below 50. So it should work out.
Please, somebody either end it or let Apple cap the zone, one or the other.
I don't know why no one's holding the button.
There's buttons in the game to let you end the game. I feel like both teams should be disqualified for this.
I think they just read the rules. I think Rabid just read the rules and realized that they have it below 50, and they're able to just win this game if they hold it out. Because they all just started moving at a single spot. Like, they all were standing still in zone looking at each other, and they just started moving all of a sudden.
I don't know what's going on here.
We'll see. I'm trying to get comms from the TO side here to see what's going to happen, if we're going to be able to get a replay. That would be an unfortunate way to start, but we are in a best of 5 scenario, so it's not as bad as dropping a game in a best of 3, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think someone needs to have a talk with these players about, the buttons to end the game next time.
Also, Boeing can just do that, but it's in that gray area, so I don't think Boeing wants to be the one to say, you know what, I'm going to end the game, and then we have problems. Yeah. We did have some communication problems earlier on with some DC issues, so I know it will be a little bit of a topic for the TOs to kind of get this one under wraps. But with that, we can talk about the Bamboo. We did see the comps, and the comps will be locked in for the maybe replay of the game.
Yeah, right there. And I think both teams had a pretty good showing towards, what were we, like a minute and a half into the game right there. Both of them, going back and forth. The zone was controlled by both teams up until, it was like 52-45. So both of these teams pretty evenly matched right there, and I think it really just comes down to the execution of their plays early in the game. We saw Mercy try to be very aggressive and utilize those flanks to get up into the face of the players on Rabid, and that kind of worked. That didn't really work out for them, as Rabid was able to shut that one down while also controlling the zone. So nice showing from Rabid to start that one off, and it looks like we're going to be counting that as a win for Rabid.
Yes, Rabid has confirmed. Knives, the captain for Mercy, said, yeah, I guess it counts, because it was past the 50 mark. If the zone was capped for Mercy before Rabid got it to 45, then we would be able to replay that game. But because it was just past 50, the game will count. So the counter pick will be coming in shortly. I want to know if that Bamboo pick will come back on faster modes like Rainmaker or Clamblitz, because it seemed to be getting a lot of good space down.
Yeah, it definitely held its own in that game. Whenever the players on the side of Mercy tried to approach them, they were able to just keep them at a perfect distance away, while also just staying safe for themselves and putting on a lot of pressure. So it was very nice pick from them. But I think we saw in the last set that they were able to go with things that were even a little bit more fast paced, like Junior, Tri-Slosher, and the shooters as well. That I think would probably work out for them a little bit better on a mode like Rainmaker.
I'm interested to see if, because Mercy has a counter pick, if they want to take it to zones again. The zones game seem to be relatively close for both teams, or if they want to swap it up to a different mode. I would be a little bit hesitant taking a team that runs double tri-strike to tower control, because if you ever want to go around tower and you've got to deal with 6 tri-strikes coming at you that are spaced out evenly, that is not very fun.
Yeah, and it seems like Mercy's taking a little bit with their counter pick here. Hopefully, it's one that they feel comfortable with. It is going to be Rainmaker on Mincemeat Metalworks. So this is I would say, at least for Mincemeat Metalworks, I think this is the mode where the majority of the community feels is at least the best mode for this map, being Rainmaker. So pretty good choice coming out from Mercy right here. And I always like to think of this map at least a little bit to Splatoon 2's Muscle Forge Fitness, where really the only way you're going to push that Rainmaker for the most part is towards your right, the enemy's left side, and you're kind of going up a little bit uphill into their base. So it's kind of similar in that regard, where it's like one solid choke point that both teams really need to try to either break through or defend.
Yeah, we've seen, I do completely agree with you. We've seen how many people hate the other modes, but to say Rainmaker Mincemeat is livable. It is survivable. But it does come down to how that most maps have 2 checkpoints that both of them are, one's better than the other, but they're both usable. Mincemeat and Undertow are the 2 maps that have 1 checkpoint that is clearly superior for pushing it every time. And then there's one that you should go to only in extreme circumstances. And those extreme circumstances is that nobody's looking at you and you have the ability to go that left side. If no one has run speed, never go left. That is as simple as it is on this map. And if anyone ever goes left that doesn't have run speed, that is either a big misplay or the other team is completely wiped.
Yeah, and Aaron right here showing all their flexibility, as now they're going to be going on to the Rapid Blaster Pro. Still with that long range, but a little bit of a more different weapon than we're used to. I believe it has the Toxic Mist, so that's very helpful on Rainmaker, to try to slow down pushes and keep up a strong defense here. But we already see Mercy getting the first pick of the game, but the specials are coming out for Rabid right here, as they've already thrown the tri-strikes. I believe they had a bubbler at the ready, but that went down rather quickly. Now Apple's moving on forward, as Mercy's already going to be pushed up near the checkpoint. But no, actually, I think a bomb from Candy's going to be able to take them down. And if Apple, though, still keeps up this aggression, they should be able to get it.
Yeah, this checkpoint should be really easy to fall, and they do. Mercy's able to get through it. Apple's still going, trying to find Aaron. Does take out Aaron. Does see the spawns coming back from Rabid. Gonna fall back. The Rainmaker is popped for Mercy. How much more points can they get? They get just a little bit more, but the tri-strikes are gonna be coming out, putting Moment into a corner. Gonna be taken out. But Mercy, I think their push is finally done.
Yeah, right now they're trying to back out, not able to do so. Nice plays coming out from Adapt right there to just take them down and make sure they're a little bit staggered and claim as much ground for themselves quickly, getting into their own push right here on the side of Rabid. Tri-strikes are going to be coming out, clearing out that checkpoint right there, and that should be the checkpoint for Squeak if they're just able to push through. But no, the burst bombs are coming in and forcing them out. There goes the tri-strikes as well, and it seems like a good response though from Rabid to stay alive and keep themselves in a decent position. But now Squeak trying to push through. The vacuum, like you mentioned right there, is going to give them just enough space to at least break the checkpoint. And yeah, most of them went down, but at least beating that checkpoint down, their next push will be stronger.
Completely massive and game-changing back. I didn't think there was a good position there at all for Rabid, but they are able to get it done. Now they've got a tri-strike defensively, trying to come out. Will the members of Mercy be able to live? No, they aren't. They're going to be flanked around by a death on the Slosher, but that's okay, because the rest of the members of Mercy are able to completely wipe out Rabid.
Yeah, right now they're going to be able to push up and get a lot of points off of this one right there. That's going to be a push down to 18, and they recognize that that's really all they need right now. Don't force themselves all the way into the enemy base, but still keep up the pressure right here, as Eric and Apple right now, the tag team duo,
No way!
pushed on forward. And Oh, they didn't see Eric. Eric almost was able to get even more points off of that. You gotta like the effort right there from that to try to keep that alive and get as much points as possible.
Who swims through a big bubbler with 3 people in it? Eric. That's the only person ever. Apple's just sharking around the corner. What can they find? They can find one? Can they find the junior? No, they won't. But their teammate will. Actually, wait, what? They did. No shot. They were able to find that. Can Apple find 3? Apple find 3 in the spawn. Apple. 1, 2, 3. Apple sauce being made in the spawn of Rabid.
Yeah, right now, Apple absolutely popping off. Finally, the members of Rabid are able to take them down, but now they've got to deal with the rest of the members of Mercy right here as they're pushed up into their spawn. We see Eric right here just tossing up as many shots as possible, and yeah, they're going to try to get points if they can, but as much time that ticks down is just seconds and seconds closer to their own victory right here if they're able to keep the Rainmaker onto Rabid's side of the map. Squeak right now trying to find their way back into their own spawn, and finally is able to do so, and it seems like they were able to get most of them down, but still, there's always just one member on the side of Mercy who just stays alive and stalls them out long enough for the rest of them to come back in.
And they know that Eric's gonna be sharking again. Eric tried to go for the same play twice. Luke says, no, you did that last time. You swam through the big bubbler to try and sneak the Rainmaker. Not gonna happen again. The Rabid, their backs are up against the wall. This is a long series, and they do have a game advantage, but they got a long way to go in under a minute.
Yeah, right now things aren't looking too good. If they're Rabid, their saving grace is that they were able to get that checkpoint on their previous push that might be able to, spell significance for them later on. But we see Candy right there getting off in a trade. That's not what you want in the last minute of the map right here, and things are not looking too good for Rabid here.
Can just stay alive for a little bit. They're gonna go for this play on knives. Can they get it? Not quite yet. Looking for the trade, and they will get it. Unfortunately for them, they are gonna get shut down. Put out a little bit more space, but Candy's gonna try and take away, get some of that aggression that was made by Adept's slosher play. Right? But they're just getting the jumps back into the big bubble. But they need to get this Rainmaker moving, and Mercy's just holding all of mid, all of deep mid control.
Yeah, right now it seems like Rabid's only able to get away with trades, and that's not what you want if you're going to be able to mount some type of strong push right here. We see Adapt trying to make something happen, but they're stuck between 2 tri-strikes right there, and that's going to be them going down. Now it's really only Squeak pushed up here with Aaron on that Rapid Blaster Pro. Not exactly the most aggressive weapon, but has to do something here, making something happen for their team. 2 down, though, on the side of Mercy might open things up for them, but if you notice at the top of our screens, they do have that Killer Whale 5.1 at the ready, and there it goes. It is going to be pushed up onto Squeak and another member right there, and they're just going to have to back out, and now time is dwindling down as we're already halfway through overtime.
Huge impact force being forced out. That Apple just went in for it, and now it's going to force that the only members alive is Squeak on this Rainmaker. They don't have much time left, and they got to survive through a crab tank. They can't go too far back, or else the timer's going to tick down in the crab tank, and the timer just too much. And that's going to be Mercy taking game 2.
Yeah, completely great game from Mercy from start to finish right there, as they were in complete control for the entirety of that map. So nice showing from them, and that's what you want to see when you throw out your counter pick. Is let's put out a map that we feel really confident in, and you could tell from the beginning that Mercy felt confident in that map.
They had all the space that they needed with just their individual plays as individual weapons. They did coordinate their special usage quite well to allow themselves to get the points that they needed, but it was a lot of fumbles from Rabid, which Mercy punished every single one of them. Every time that Rabid let somebody slip through just a little bit too much, Mercy would punish them. Every single time. And that's what you need to do. Sometimes you need to outplay your opponent, but other times you have to really punish them hard on their mistakes.
Yeah, completely agree with you right there. And now, that's a quick pick coming back out from Rabid. They immediately go to tower control, Mako Mart, and you gotta wonder what they're thinking on this one right here. They've obviously, went back and forth in splat zones, kind of got dominated on Rainmaker, so just decide to go with a completely different mode right here. And the interesting thing about this is, we've seen Aaron be able to flex onto a couple different weapons throughout this set and the previous one, E-Leader, Bamboo, and the Rapid Pro in the last one. I'm very curious to see what they want to bring out onto this one, as well as, Yeah, it's tower control, so backlines, could be pretty strong, but Mako Mart doesn't always give them the best sight lines, as there's just so many different routes for the enemy to take.
We saw Aaron actually pull out the T-Tech on the second game against Synergy, the Rainmaker game, Rainmaker Undertow. So that wouldn't be too crazy. Tri-Strike on this map, on tower control, the mode as well, Mako Mart TC is so disgusting. You can take away so many positions in so many places and also stop the tower, while also not giving up the fact that you might not have a machine, you can run a machine with it. They did play a regular Slosher, which has a Tri-Strike as well, that can cause so much chaos. I wouldn't be surprised to see double T-Tech regular Slosher here. Get 9 Tri-Strikes.
Yep, game number 3. Aaron is going to elect to bring out the regular Rapid Blaster here. And we see the rest of his team rounding it out with that Slosher Jr. for the bubble on the tower. And they've also got the 52 Gal. And then on the other side, pretty, I would say, standard from Mercy, what they've been running thus far. Not too much different on their end. We've already got the Crab Tank able to take down Candy right away, and that's 3 down on the side of Rabid to start this one off. Great start to the game if you're Mercy.
Mercy, they had no mercy. They took all the aggression, they took all the space, but they have to watch out because there is a little bit of a fight going down on this right side. Can Knives stay alive? No, they're going to get punished before being able to get to that first checkpoint fully through. And a great defense from Rabid, showing off their comp is actually really strong on this map.
Yeah, I mean, for them to get a 3-down situation right off the bat and not break the first checkpoint, that's a pretty damn strong showing for Rabid right there. And that could, be the difference in the game later on in the line. We mentioned how strong those checkpoints were in Rainmaker. They're just as strong here in tower control. And once again, though, Rabid found themselves in a 3-down situation. Let's see if they're able to stop them at the checkpoint once again.
Let's see, it's going to be a lot. The Rapid is going to be firing a lot of damage down. The Killer Whale is coming out offensively and should be coming out defensively from Rabid. The first checkpoint is going to be gone. Mercy just kind of spacing out with these Tri-Strikes and the Booyah Bombs, forcing all the members of Rabid just to kind of scatter around.
Yeah, Rabid, though, needs to do something quickly as they're already approaching that second checkpoint. One of the members on the side of Mercy does go down. There's a second one right there, so they should be able to stop this one before it clears that checkpoint. And they do force out all the members of Mercy right now. Adapt right now looking to get that pick onto Eric, is able to do so right there. Now Adapt looks for another one, able to clear. There's a third right there for Adapt, looking for a fourth possibly, but that Splash Wall is going to be able to save Apple from the dominance that is Adapt right here.
Adept, there was no one else around. Just Adept in a 1v3 scenario, able to take every single member of Mercy out in 2 sloshes. Unfortunately, takes off a little bit too much of that in that fight and gonna be punished. But the super jump is gonna be coming in from Candy and Camp.
Yeah,
Wow,
Adapt was able to take down each of those players in a 1v1, so they decide, let's all attack him at once. Finally able to take him down. The only way to take them down was that 3v1 right now, and once again, it is Mercy on the attack right there, but this one might be shut down quickly as they were already able to force back the last remaining member on the side of Mercy right there. Aaron right now looking for Sharks as they try to approach this first checkpoint. They've got the bubble on the tower, so that should be able to get them this first checkpoint with relative ease. Now it's going to be what can they do leading up to this second one as Squeak is already pushed off of that tower.
How can Rabid live? They've got the specials burned from Mercy. That's 2 down. Trades coming out. 2 specials down. 2 members down of Rabid. Who's going to be able to stay alive? 3 gone. Adept. Are they going to be able to come up with a miracle again? Probably not, because all 4 members are looking at you.
Yeah, right there, Adept looking for something there. Wasn't able to make anything happen, but at least they were able to get past that first checkpoint, and hopefully now they're able to use that bubbler, moving towards the second one on their next push here. We've already got members of Mercy pushed up kind of into their spawn right here, blocking out that snipe over onto the left, and there comes the Booyah Bomb as they know a lot of their players are going to be rotating over to the right, and it gets one in the name of Aaron right there. So this is looking pretty decent for them, trying to get that second checkpoint, but unable to do so right there. But it seems like Mercy's got the last remaining members, or Rabid rather has got the last remaining members left on this one as we push it back forward onto the other side now. Every
single member of every team, both teams, fell. It was just a little bit of a staggered wipe. We could have had a double wipeout scenario, but not quite in that tight area. You're going to see Apple on his right side going for 1, going for 2, and able to get it. And now he's going to be pushing forward to punish Aaron using the Tri-Strike. This is dangerous if you're Rabid. Just Aaron who's going to have to back off. I also forgot to mention that the Rapid Blaster has Tri-Strike, so there's still 2 Tri-Strike weapons on the side of Rabid. But they need to have them up to stall the second check.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate right there. You mentioned that Apple was able to take down 2 in kind of a 1v2, 1v3-ish situation right there. So Rabid kind of lost their momentum right there going into that one. Once again, though, they're going to find that momentum is shut down by that sloshing machine. Squeak might get taken down as well right there as the sloshing machine just pushes on forward or backs up onto their side of the map right here and knows that there's only about 25 seconds left. Make sure that they get this Booyah Bomb and keep it at the ready for this last remaining push coming out from Rabid anytime now.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. If you're not, you got to hold on to that Booyah Bomb. You're going to want to stay alive. You want to fight in mid, but they're going to use it. They're going to actually use it, and they're in a 1v3 scenario. They see a jump, and they're going to want to try and punish it. But this tower is slowly but surely moving, and that big bubbler is at the ready for Rabid.
Yeah, that was a pretty big misplay on their part. They're going to have to get themselves right onto the tower right there. There goes Candy, though, going down. Squeak doesn't know about the one behind them. Apple is going to be able to take Squeak off and the tower as well. So that's going to be Mercy getting the 2-1 right now and onto Rabid's counter pick at that. So great showing if you're Mercy right there. Like we mentioned, there was a little bit of a misplay throwing out that Booyah Bomb a little bit early, but the sharking of Apple and the rest of the team was able to, make up for it and make sure that Mercy came out with that victory.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I just saw the counter pick coming in. I need to check the rules to see if that's a thing. Make OTC back to back. I have to check to see if that is a rule that we're going to allow. But overall for that game, Mercy really had a lot of the fundamentals down that they needed. They took over the top left. They took over the stacks, then they took the tower, pushed it to the first checkpoint, took over where Glass was, used their specials, pushed it to the second checkpoint. They didn't have to break the second checkpoint to win, because their defense was strong. But that was something that I was a little bit worried about, because second checkpoint is where you make or break the games.
Yeah, on a lot of maps, but, on Mako Mart TC in particular, that second one was where we saw Mercy gets stalled at. So if they were able to break it through that one, it would have surely been victory for Rabid right there. But let's see how they elect to adapt to this next situation right here that they find themselves in, down 2-1. And trying to go into another counter pick. And it does seem like we are going to be going back to Mako Mart tower control. It was a pretty even keeled back and forth between these teams. So interested to see why Rabid wanted to go with this one when, they did come out with the loss. But like I said, it was back and forth for the most part, but it didn't seem like it was a back and forth that, there was just one misplay that led to them losing the game, and that's why they want to go back to it. Because Mercy looked just as strong on that map, so I think this is kind of just another toss-up 50-50.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more hesitant. I don't feel like this was a super smart pick for Rabid to do the same map again. They did see what Mercy did play, so they need to have a counter strat to really counteract, because it wasn't, as you said, it wasn't like there was just one big misplay that led Mercy to win it. It felt like just overall they were just losing ground, losing paint. And in this game, in Splatoon, I will quote the wise K-Bot, who once referred to it as, every game mode comes down to turf war. You can see the team that is losing, for the most part, except overtime, by the team that has the most paint down on the map. So if you're losing, and that's what I just kept seeing. Mercy just had the paint control over the map for the general part of the game. Except for the very end, where they only had to focus on objective.
Yeah, and, kind of what we were alluding to right there was, when you see a team that lost in a counter-pick situation go back to that same map, it's usually one of those situations where we were leading the whole entire game, and right at the end, we just screwed it up. That obviously wasn't really the case here, as Mercy was in the lead for the majority of that game. But But nonetheless, we are going to be going back to Mako Mart right here. And we do see a little bit of a difference, though. Aaron is going to be bringing out the Carbon Roller Deco, obviously, with that Burst Bomb and Try-Zuka coming out as well. And Adapt also is going to be switching to the Sloshing Machine. So, and Squeak is actually switching off of the Junior to the Custom Junior.
Different. We had a B Machine go to a B Slosher go to a Machine, Junior going to a Custom Junior, 52 Gal going to a T-Tech, and a Rapid going to a Carbon. The biggest swap up. With the game plan, still the same. Mercy, first lead.
Yep, right now, Mercy, though, it's interesting that they like kind of switched the colors here from what we were looking at last game. But Eric right now is going to be the one on the tower for Mercy right here. And they should be able to get past this checkpoint once again. So the new comp coming out for Rabid doesn't really seem like it's paying off thus far, as they're already past that first checkpoint and now moving on to the second one rather quickly. Apple right here in a 1v1 against Squeak. Aaron's going to come in and try to clean that up, but going to get taken down right after. And now, once again, they're moving on closer to that second checkpoint. Eric is clearing the way, and they might be able to get the second checkpoint easier than they were even able to approach in the last game.
Yeah, Eric's going to roll back onto this tower. They don't see that Aaron is below them, but Aaron's unable to connect the flick, and Adept will be able to get that kill without trading as well. Knives is pushing this tower all the way down to 36, popping a Booyah in the spawn of Rabid. But what can they find? When they find Candy, can they find another one? Looking to stay alive. Wow. Mercy. Crazy first push from them.
Yeah, great start to the game for them right there. And you gotta also wonder where the rest of the players, everybody knew that the Sloshing Machine was there, but they kind of just let them get away from their spawn. Finally able to take them down right there is Adapt. But now they need to do something on the offensive end right here. They're pushing on forward, trying to just clear out this snipe area, and that's so crucial to clear that out to get that first checkpoint. So they had the right idea right there. So far, the execution hasn't been the best, and Squeak is just going to have to back off of that tower. And honestly, I would have thought that possibly they should just given their life for the checkpoint right there. As you see,
they should. They're going to jump back on it. Can Squeak get to it in time? Yes, they will, and they'll break through it right away. Great job to stall it. The crab tank just a little bit, and even though they go 3 down, and the last one has jumped back to spawn, getting that first checkpoint, I feel like, is completely worth it. We're going to see Apple under this left side of the glass, trying to find some space, but the Wayburger is going to prove to be a little bit too difficult. Luckily, their teammates support them with touch.
Yeah, right now, once again, Mercy on the offensive. We see a bunch of specials going back and forth, and they do also have that Booyah Bomb at the ready. Might be using it anytime now. Here, look, Adapt on that flank, but is going to get quickly picked off by Apple on that 52 guy. Now Apple gets that one pick, knows I got the free reign to just move on forward and create as much space and havoc on this right side as possible, which is just going to allow their team to move on towards the checkpoint, and also is able to take down Aaron somehow. So nice plays coming out from Apple right there to kind of open this
1v1 machines
for their team. But let's see who is able to win this one out. It seems like nobody right there, as they're both just going to push each other back.
They knew that if either one of them fell, that all the space either was going to be given up by mid if Mercy lost that, or if Rabid lost it, that was going to be a checkpoint that was going to be gone. So neither machine wanted the consequences to happen if they lost it. Good, smart play for both.
Yep. Once again, though, they find themselves with their back against the wall right here. That's going to be a nice start right there. Aaron getting one, trying to pick off Eric, is going to get it in a trade right there, but now they just need to come back into it as nobody was really able to follow up.
We need to see the Junior and the Carbon painting more. The Carbon doesn't paint more, but the Junior needs to stay with the Carbon so it's protected, can't be jumped on, and the Carbon has all its paint around with Junior. Plus, those torpedoes really help the burst bomb combos going off. And I haven't really seen Rabid play that out too well. But this is good, because they've got 2 members of Mercy gone. This should be a good start to it.
Yeah, right now they've got the Wave Breaker at the ready, but that Crab Tank is just going to force them back. And that's just such a strong aspect of that Crab Tank, is even if you're not able to get the kills, they're allowing so much time for the rest of their teammates to build up their specials and get position just by forcing Squeak off that tower, and it works out very well as the rest of Mercy just moves in forward on that once the members of Rabid were just backing out there.
Yeah, we see good force of a jump out from Knives. Blue Bomb's going to be used now. Let's see if the Carbon's below them. The teammates are able to trade with it. There's so little time left for Rabid to try and get in here. I'm very interested to see what they're going to try and do. So far, they just kind of, it feels like they're running in solo. Individual hero clothes are all that they're looking for at the moment.
Yep. Right now, Candy trying to make something happen on the bottom of our screens right there. They're in a 1v1 situation. Aaron's going to come in to try to help. It is going to be 2 taken down on both sides right there as Adapt now try to get the kill into Eric, but they're not going to be able to do much onto the tower right there as Mercy is going to be able to take the game 3-1. And not only that, they're our SAC Season 6 Tournament 2 Grand Finals champion.
Yeah, wow. What an amazing way to close out the tournament. They had a little bit of a DC issue earlier on and able to take this tournament without losing a game. Or a set, sorry. They 5-0'd in Swiss, and then single elimination, as you have to do, they went all the way. They only lost 1 game to a DC issue. And 2 tower control Mako Marts. Surprised that they were actually able to come out with it. Even though the comp completely swapped up from Rabid, Mercy was still able to repel 2 completely different composition ideas.
Yeah, the interesting thing about what Rabid was doing there was, if they really thought that the comp and the issue was the issue in that first game, why did you pick it in the first place if everybody picked something different? It wasn't 1 or 2 weapons that you felt like you needed to change. You felt like you needed to change everything in that game right there. So I think they need to go back to the drawing board on that map in particular. But other than that, I think it was a very strong showing from Rabid. They were able to go toe-to-toe with Mercy throughout most of those games.
Yeah, and both these teams not playing in in the first tournament, which means that lots of points are going towards them, and the standings will have a big swap up. I'm going to check to see our gold bracket, and that's Synergy up. I believe that's a best of 3. No, it's a best of 5 again. No, it is a the scoreline is actually 3-2. So Synergy is able to get your 3rd place, so they will still be holding on to their crown of being overall points leaders, but not able to make it all the way to finals for either Naywell or Synergy. But yeah, great showing for Mercy throughout the entire tournament. Taking out every single team in the top 4 is an accomplishment that not many teams in a single elimination tournament ever get to say.
Yeah, great showing from them, and I'm excited to see what they do the rest of this SAC circuit. So, very happy for them, and tournaments like this is where you get your name out there and really make a strong showing for yourself and prove to others that you're one of those teams to look out for. So, great showing from Mercy, and I'm very excited to see what they do in the next one.
Yeah, but yeah, with that, we will be wrapping up this tournament. I gotta say, huge thank you, Walkie, for joining me today. I know we were supposed to commentate together at Big House, but I kind of messed it up because I was still playing in the event. So, thank you. We finally got to do our comms together. Where can the local people find you?
Yeah, it was a great time casting with you as well. And if anyone is interested, you could always find me over at Walkman_04 on Twitter. Trying to get back into this commentary thing a little bit, and so far all these teams haven't given me any disappointing sets so far, so great showing from them, and I'm very excited for the next tournament.
Yeah, we do have some news. We have their podcast coming up this Monday here on IPL at 5 p.m. EST. It'll be me and Raze again. That's Jeannie. I am Jeannie. We will be here at 5 p.m. doing our podcast. And normally the tournaments are every 2 weeks, but we have moved the next tournament up. So the next SAC tournament is next week. So everyone, double SAC weekends. But yeah, with that, I gotta say thank you to all the TOs and especially Boeing, our streamer, and all the commentators who came before us. But with that, we want to congratulate Mercy on their Tournament 2 victory. I can't wait to see you all Monday for the podcast.